Core stability is a term that's often thrown around by exercise professionals with no real understanding of what it is and how to maximize it. Having a strong functioning core and the ability to use it when needed is crucial to maximize your performance and to minimize injury. When the core fails to meet the stability demands of a certain lift, parts of the spine will be overloaded with forces that increase injury risk. The joints will be stressed and unable to provide the needed stability to perform the lift with good form, and of course, performance will suffer. Core stability depends on the activity of many muscles that act on the torso, and in particular, that form the abdominal wall. The core is composed of the abdominal muscles on the front, this is the rectus abdominis, and the sides, the internal and the external obliques. The deeper core, the transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor, the spinal erector muscles of the back, and even larger muscles that span multiple joints like the lats and the psoas muscles. The glutes also form an important part of the core that provides stability. When all these muscles work together, they provide a super stiffness around the torso that acts as a solid base that the limbs can produce maximal force from. Now, the late Charles Poliquin used to say, "You can't fire a cannon from a canoe," when referring to the difference between a weak core and a strong core. Now, I find this analogy very relevant. You need a strong core if you want your limbs to produce maximum strength or force whilst keeping your body safe and injury-free. In order to build a strong core, we need to focus on both building strength in the muscles mentioned above and learn how to brace them. The strengthening exercises that I would first prescribe to someone wanting to improve their core strength are the McGill Big 3 strengthening exercises. These are demonstrated in the back pain video, which can be found in the bonus videos in the corrective exercise section of the course. In addition to building strong muscles that make up the core, you are also going to need to know how to use these muscles effectively via bracing. A brace is a technique that we use to create maximal intra-abdominal pressure and muscular tension to add more stability to the core. If you don't know how to do this effectively, having strong core muscles are not of much use. You need to know how to seriously brace your core muscles and harness their strength in order to achieve total stiffness in the torso. Now let's have a look at how to brace and put these core muscles to good use. The first thing that we need to do when learning how to brace the core is learn how to breathe effectively so we can create a solid and stable core. We can do this by using our breath to maximize the level of intra-abdominal pressure in the abdominal cavity. It's this intra-abdominal pressure that adds stiffness to the core muscles, protecting the spine and providing a solid base to push from. We are going to teach you two different types of 90-90 breathing drills. They both share many similarities. The first drill is more about learning how to diaphragmatically breathe in a neutral position whilst being somewhat relaxed. This is a required stepping stone before the second drill, which teaches you how to diaphragmatically breathe in conjunction with abdominal muscles to create a strong core brace. This drill is quite demanding and is more reflective of how you would brace in a squat, a deadlift, an overhead press, and so on. 90-90 drill 1. Firstly, find a wall or a bench to position your feet on. Put them into a squat position. Your feet should be as wide as you'd normally squat. Make sure you form a 90-degree angle at your hip and your knees. This is why it's called 90-90 breathing. The reason we get you on the floor is to get you into the correct posture and eliminate gravity to make the drill as simple as possible. Once you're set in position, place your hands on your side abdominals. These are also known as your obliques. Now, I want you to softly exhale with an open mouth and use your side abdominals, that's your obliques, to push air out of your diaphragm. At the end of the exhalation, maintain a slight amount of tension in your obliques and pause for 2 seconds. Next, breathe in through your nose. Here you want to inhale through the diaphragm and the lungs at the same time. This should take around 5 to 8 seconds. There should be no noise when you breathe in. It should be a silent process. Here we want to see a simultaneous rise of the belly and the rib cage as you fill them up with as much air as possible. Think of filling the diaphragm and the rib cage with air 360 degrees all around. You want to feel your ribs stretching out in front, the sides and the back, as well as the belly filling with air from the front, the sides and the back. When you have fully inhaled, I want you to softly exhale through your mouth using your obliques to help you exhale all the air out. It's okay to make a little bit of noise when you do this. When you get to the end of the exhale and all the air is out, maintain some tension in the obliques. Pause for 2 seconds and repeat the inhalation through the nose. Perform this drill for around 5 minutes or so, focusing on each breath. Drill 2. Drill 2 is very similar to drill 1. However, we're now going to use a more aggressive breathing and bracing strategy to maximize intra-abdominal pressure. This is the difference between the two drills. Drill 1 teaches you how to diaphragmatically breathe, and drill 2 teaches you how to diaphragmatically breathe and brace the abs to create intra-abdominal pressure. Now, we're going to position your feet on a wall. I want you to position your feet straight ahead. There should be a 90-degree angle at the hip and the knee. Your knees should be aligned with your second toe, and you should have a good amount of equal pressure in the base of your foot between the 3 points of contact. These are the ball of the foot, the heel, and the little toe. So now you should have a nice straight line from your second toe, through the knee, through the hip, and through the shoulder. Next, position your arms out by your sides with the palms facing up. Now, I want you to pay attention to your head posture by tucking your chin and keeping the back of your neck long. Ensure you maintain this posture throughout the breathing drill. Okay, now it's time to breathe. I want you to take a big inhalation through your nose for around 5 seconds and then breathe out through pursed lips. I want you to forcefully exhale all the air out using your side abs and front abs to do so. Once you get to the end of the exhalation, I want you to maintain all that tension you've created in your front and side abs, and then take another breath in through the nose simultaneously, filling the belly and the rib cage full of air. You should feel the air fill up your rib cage and belly 360 degrees all around, in the front, the sides, and the back. Repeat this process for 5 to 8 reps. Be sure to fully exhale all the air out with each rep and maintain a high level of tension in your abdominals throughout the entire breathing drill. You can perform these drills whenever you like. I suggest performing drill 1 on a daily basis for 5 minutes at a time, and drill 2 before a squat or deadlift session as an exercise to awaken the nervous system, getting the abs switched on and ready to work in their most efficient manner. You want to use this breathing and bracing strategy when you perform your lifts. It's probably going to feel somewhat different when you're under the bar, but there should be a high level of carryover. When under the bar, try to remember what you've learned in the 90-90 position. Take your time and ensure you maintain a high level of tension in those abdominals. In addition to using your abdominal muscles to brace, you'll also use other muscles to further add rigidity and stability to your lifts. Now, the lats, or latissimus dorsi, these big guys here, are the next most important muscle group that help us do this. They form part of the body's natural weight belt known as the thoracolordoid fascia. This fascia consists of a diamond-shaped area located on the lower back of the body and ties round into the front of the abdominal muscles. It acts as an attachment site for the trapezius, the lats, the glute maximus, and the hamstring group of muscles. Together, these muscles act synergistically, providing optimal load transfer and stability. This helps keep the spine safe and allows you to transfer more power through your limb. In order to use the lats to add stiffening and tension to this area and the upper back, there are different techniques that you can use with each lift. I'll go over the bracing strategy specific to each lift and now show you how to engage the lats. Okay guys, I'm going to take you through the back squat and the breathing and bracing technique that you've just learned in the 90-90 breathing drill. And we're also going to show you how to bring your lats into the equation to provide a super stiffness in the core. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do when getting set and creating a brace for the squat is to forcefully exhale all the air that's inside of you. Now, when we forcefully exhale, we're going to use the obliques and we're going to use the abdominals to do this. It will look like this. Just imagine I've got a bar. So I've used these muscles here, the obliques, and I've used my abdominals to exhale all the air. Now I've got a level of tension. You can hear it finding it hard to breathe. And I've got this tension in these muscles. Once I get to the end of that exhale, I'm going to inhale through the nose and fill up the diaphragm and the rib cage full of air. First of all, you kind of want to feel your diaphragm filling full of air, and then it'll have no more, the air will have nowhere else to go, and it will come up into the rib cage and fill the lungs full of air. And it will look like this. So I'll exhale again. Now I'll inhale. Now I can feel that everywhere. I've got a lot of pressure pushing against my abdominals and my obliques. I've got a lot of pressure in the lungs pushing out in the front, the sides and the rear. And that creates that intra-abdominal pressure. Once I'm in that position, it's time to squat. So I'll go down, get to the bottom, come up, and as I come up, I breathe out as I'm getting towards the top. And as I breathe out and exhale, I'm using those obliques and I'm using those abdominals to push that air out and create that tension once again. Then I breathe in through the nose, pushing out against the abs, filling the lungs full of air, and then I go down again and repeat the process. So you exhale when you start the squat, when you're getting prepped, you'll exhale, create that tension, take your first breath in through the nose. Okay, then perform your first rep. As you ascend, you're breathing out through tight lips, creating that tension in the abdominals and the obliques. At the top of the movement, you breathe in through the nose and repeat the process. Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you what this looks like on the platform. Now there'll be two instances where you breathe and brace on the platform. The first one will be when you unrack the bar. Now there's only 60 kilos on here now, but you might have 100, 120, 160 kilos on there. So you want to maintain a rigid core when you actually unrack the bar. And the second time you'll breathe and brace is just before you would squat. Okay? So let me show you what this looks like, and we'll also show you how you can integrate the lats into the movement to get even tighter. Okay? So remember that for our back squat, you want to keep the arms in as close as possible to keep that tight upper back. Now, the barbell is positioned on the upper traps. We'll bring the hips underneath. So from here, I'm going to take an exhale. I've got a lot of tension now in my side abs and abdominals, so it's time to inhale through the nose. Okay, I can't get any more air in. I pull down on the bar to activate my lats. And I walk back 3, 2, 1. So 3 steps. So from here, I breathe out again. Let that air out. Take a breath in. Full of air. Pull down on the bar. Activate the lats and squat. You'll notice that I breathed out on the way up, so that made me forcefully exhale air, and I've got that tension in the abdominals now. Now I'll take a breath of air in through the nose at the top, pull down on the bar to activate the lats. Now I'm just going to squat and show you what it will look like and sound like, okay? So So you would have seen then that I breathed and re-braced at the top of the movement, and then with every re-brace I would pull down on the bar, activating those lats before I descended into the movement. Alright guys, now I'll take you through the front squat. It's very similar to the back squat in terms of the breathing and bracing technique. However, the lats will be the part that's different. So in the back squat, remember that we pull down on the bar. In a front squat, we can't do that. So what we're going to do to activate the lats is bring the elbows together. So to get set like you would for the back squat, first thing you're going to do is exhale. You're going to let go of all that air, and you're going to exhale using these muscles here, the obliques and the abdominals. Once you get to the end of that movement and you've fully exhaled all your air, maintain that level of tension in this area, and then breathe in through the nose. When you get to the end, squeeze the elbows together. and then squat. Okay, so let's have a look what that looks like with the bar. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is exhale. Then I'm going to inhale through the nose, elbows together, unrack. 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to re-breathe and re-brace again. So as you can see, I re-breathe and re-brace at the top of every movement, every rep, and at the same time, I bring my elbows up and in to activate those lats. Okay guys, I'm going to take you through the deadlift now and how we breathe and brace in this exercise to create that abdominal tension. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll step up to the bar. All right, so with the deadlift, we take the breath in at the bottom of the movement, all right? So I'm gonna get set. From here, I'm gonna first breathe out, creating that tension in the abdominals and obliques. Once I get to the end of that exhalation, I'll take an inhalation through the nose, fill myself full of air, get long, and drive. Let out the air. Breathe in through the nose. Now, one thing that I should mention is the lats. They're really important in creating that abdominal stiffness and core tension in the deadlift. Now, when I brace my lats or when I activate my lats, I visualize that I'm bending the bar around myself. So I do that after I've taken my breath of air in and just before I push through the floor and lift off. So I'll show you what that looks like. Just pay particular attention to the lats. As you can see, every rep I re-breathe and re-brace at the bottom of that movement and then tie the lats into it by trying to bend that bar around myself. Okay guys, so now I'm going to take you through the overhead press and how we're going to breathe and brace in this exercise, plus also how we're going to use the lats to create a little bit more rigidity in the torso. So let's step up to the bar. Okay, so take our hand position. So we're going to have to breathe and brace before we unrack. So I'm just going to forcefully exhale using my obliques and my abdominals. I get to the end of that movement. I've got all that tension that I've built up in that midsection. I maintain that. Take a big inhalation through the nose. Squeeze my armpits, which is activating my lats. And then I'm going to walk back. 1, 2, 3. From here, I'm going to let go of all that air again. Take a deep breath in. Squeeze my lats. Press overhead. Let out. Now, you notice that I performed a full rep all the way up and all the way down, and it wasn't until I got to the bottom till I let go of that air and re-breathed and re-brace. Now that's the technique that I advise for most of you guys out there. It's going to be the easiest technique. However, if you prefer, you can breathe and brace at the beginning of the rep, or the set I should say,
and you can maintain that brace the whole way through if you've got the lungs for it. And I'll show you what I mean. I'll do, say, 8 reps here. Alright, so that was 8 reps with no breath. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it's not that hard and you do get used to it. So choose whatever's more comfortable for you. Good luck with it. Okay guys, so I'm going to take you through the bench press now. I'm going to show you how to breathe and brace and use the lats to create that super stiff core. Alright, so let's get straight into it. Now, first of all, we'll get our hand position on the bar. Now, from here, I'm going to create some sort of better position of the shoulders. So I'm going to bring my shoulder blades back to the bench, but also down towards my back pockets. And that's going to create a bit of an arch in my upper back. Okay? Make sure your feet are beneath your knees, and that's going to help activate your glutes. Okay, so this is where I take my breath of air in, this is where I exhale before taking my breath of air in. So I exhale, and I use my obliques and my abdominals to do this. At the end of the exhale, I'll keep that tension in those muscles. Then I'll breathe in through my nose, filling my diaphragm and rib cage up with air. Once I fully fill them up with air, I then take a bit of a squeeze on the bar to activate my lats, and I'll unrack the bar. I'll maintain all that oxygen, I don't let it go, and I'll perform a rep. Now you've got the option to breathe out at the top of the rep and rebreathe and rebrace, or you could perform 5 or 6 reps in a row with not breathing, or you could do the whole set with not breathing. It's up to you. I'll demonstrate both variations. So here we won't breathe. This will be 6 reps, no breathing. So I'll set my shoulder blades back and down, forcefully exhale, then inhale, then bend the bar, unrack. Okay, so that was a breathe, brace and lat activation, then 6 reps, and then that was it. So now I'll do the exact same, but I'll re-breathe and re-brace after every rep. So set the shoulder blades back and down. Exhale. Strong inhalation. Tighten the lats up, squeeze the bar. Unrack. Okay, so in that variation, you can see that I re-breathed and re-braced at the top of each movement. It allowed me to get my breath, but I did lose a little bit of tension, which makes you a little bit weaker in the lift. So either option is absolutely fine, just whatever suits you best.